ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We have looked at how the concluding verses, especially verses 27 and 28, prepare us for meditation, especially verse 27. And this is a very important topic, and that's going to cover the entire chapter 6. In fact, between chapter 5 and chapter 6, there is a seamless movement. In fact, it is very difficult to know where chapter 6 begins and where chapter 5 ends. Very, very difficult to know. So, with this small introduction in mind, keeping this in mind, we will also try to have a seamless bridge between chapter 5 and chapter 6. Verses wise, we have actually completed chapter 5, but we haven't looked at verse 27 in detail because it tells us to do things that we haven't yet done. So with that in mind, let us spend a little time just in meditation, just to see what is it that the chapter 5 verse 27 is asking us to do and what that looks like. If lights need to be dimmed, please go ahead and do that, and please sit in a comfortable position. Eyes are softly closed. The attention is in between the eyebrows, which is an energy center. My awareness is fixed in between the eyebrows, as it were. And then I focus the attention on the breath. Gentle is the breathing, no rush, nothing to achieve, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Long, full, deep, and if possible, silent breaths. The latest research shows that breathing quietly, deeply, consciously reduces blood pressure, cholesterol, stress. And the sixth chapter will tell us the position for meditation. Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam. Head, neck, and back are in a single straight line. Dharayan Achalam Sthiraha. I hold this position without shifting too much. I'm not that comfortable that sleep comes, and I'm not that uncomfortable that I'm squirming all the time. Samprekshya nasikagram swam. The eyelids in the closed eyes are centered, looking at, as it were, the tip of one's own nose. Samprekshya nasikagram swam. Dishascha anavalokayan. The eyeballs are not restless and moving all over the place. Tatra ekagyam manah kritva na kinchidapi chintayet. Letting the mind just be. There is no particular focus. I am a thinker and the object of thought is something or the other. That is not there. I let the mind be, meaning I do not chase after the thoughts and I do not shun the thoughts when they come. Just observe the mind. Allow the mind to just be. Then the next step is what we saw in verse 27. Sparshan bahyan bahihi kritva. Keeping the external world external. How am I supposed to do that? How can I keep what is already outside, outside? I visualize a range of mountains. In relation to these mountains, I find that I am a non-disturbed person, objective, non-judgmental, appreciative, contented person. Why? Because I do not want the mountains to be a certain way. I do not want them to be tall, short. I'm happy with however they are. The mountains have the capacity to invoke in me a non-demanding, appreciative, non-judgmental, contented, objective person. Next, I visualize a river. This is how the river is. The Ganga flows behind the ashram. Again, I don't want her flow to change. This is how Ganga is. Looking at the Ganga, I feel peaceful. I do not want her to be other than who she is. I'm happy with however she is, whatever she is. Next, I visualize the mother. Immediately, I see there is a difference between the mountain and the mother. Mountain, outside, mother, inside. Internalized in the form of anxiety, unexpected, unmet expectations. Bakhyan sparshan bahihi kritva means taking the mother back to where she belongs. And where she does not belong right now is in my head when I sit down to meditate. How to do that? Retaining the love and the caring for the mother, I accept. This is how the mother was, the mother is in my perception. The words in my perception are important because I do not have the pressure to be right. This is how mother was, this is how mother is. Retaining the love for the mother, the caring for the mother, I take the time now to give her the freedom to be however she is, however she was. Father. I visualize the father. Again, there is a big difference between the river and the father. River, outside. Father, both inside and outside. Internalized in the form of unmet expectations, worry, anxiety, fears, anger, resentment. I take the time to acknowledge this is how Father was, Father is. And then the next thing to do is to give the Father the freedom to be whoever he was or is in my perception. In granting this freedom, I free myself of the expectation that they should be different, that they should have been different. And if I have trouble letting go, I put the mother and the father inside the heart onto the lap of Bhagavan. However, I visualize Bhagavan in whatever form, I visualize the form and give both the parents to Bhagavan. Which parents? The ones that are within, in the form of assumptions, fears, anxiety, caring, etc. Unmet expectations. I give it to the Lord. Put it in the lap of the Lord. Hey Bhagavan, give me the ability to know the things that I can change and to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to tell them apart. I let go. I let God in. The more I let go, the more I let Ishvara be free in me as me. What about this body? Is it external to me? Is it internal to me? I can observe the whole body from head to toe as though I'm sitting in front of a full-length mirror. That means it is external. Dehaha. And I am Dehin, the indweller. This body is exactly how it is in my perception. I take the time to give the body the freedom to whatever it is. There are many things about this body I cannot change. Height, general weight, color of skin, predilection to certain diseases I cannot change. I put the body and all my frustrations that I have about this body, which I have internalized, at the feet of the Lord. Om Namaha, Om Namaha, Om Namaha, Om, Om, Om. Moving now to watch the mind. Again, this is how the mind is. Arjuna complains in the 6th chapter, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna. The mind is always moving around, O Lord. Lord Krishna agrees. Yes, the mind is difficult to catch. It is moving all the time. How to be still? If I am still, I go to sleep. Otherwise, the mind is a busy body going all over the place. Either there is laya, sleep, or there is vikshepa, distraction. Again, I take the help of Ishvara. Lord Krishna says, Asamshayam Mahabaho Manaha Durnigraham Chalam. Yes, doubtlessly, the mind is a challenge, difficult to catch, and moving all over the place. Arjuna, you can conquer it. You can be victorious over the mind by two upayas, methods. Abhyasa, repeated practice of japa, mantra japa, and vairagya with regard to the thoughts. Being able to be free enough to let go of the thoughts and not cling to the thoughts, whether the thoughts are belonging to the future, the present, or the past. The instruction is to place the mantra in the mind and chant it mentally. For today, we will use the simple yet profound mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya, unto that which is pure and auspicious, unto that Lord, my salutations. Namaha. We will begin the several rounds of this chant together. First, we will chant loudly, a little less loudly, softly, and then in a whisper, and then silently. We will do this together for several rounds. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Allow the chant to come to a close. See the difference in the mind. This is my nature. I am tranquil. I am comfortable, being peaceful, expanded, free, whole. Limitless. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. When you are ready, you can open the eyes. We see then that in this practice there are steps, ancient steps that we take to prepare the mind. The preparation of the mind itself takes some time and some getting used to, because the mind holds on to things. It is preoccupied. It wants to cling. It clings to the pleasant because it doesn't want the pleasant experiences to end, and it clings to the past because it doesn't know how to let go. And here, in the practice of meditation, whatever it is clinging to is that which is internalized. And that which is internalized is put outside again. It's not really the person is being put outside. The impressions of the person, how they are in the heart, how they have been lodged in the heart in the form of anxiety, over responsibility perhaps, guilt, fear, expectations, they are all put outside. And then the mind is prepared to meditate. And the japa can be done in three ways. The japa can be done loudly in a vijana pradesha, either if you are by yourself in the room or if you are in a open area where there are not many people so that they don't get disturbed. The japa can be done softly so that only you can hear, and the japa can be done silently in the mind. Depending upon the day and depending upon our preparedness, we can choose how to do the japa. That is why today we had three different ways demonstrated so that we can decide. If you do it loudly, then the chances of vikshepa and laya means samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, which means sleep. The chances of laya are less, and then chances of vikshepa are also less because the mind is given a job to do and it has to do this job. And then if you do it softly also, then it is then also it is beneficial so that you can hear. And the moment you keep hearing, then the moment it stops, let us say the mind either gets asleep or distracted, it goes to sleep or distraction, then immediately you miss the lips moving, you miss hearing the whispering of the japa, and you bring the mind back. Krishna tells Arjuna in the 6th chapter, there is no use complaining that the mind is going all over the place. It is supposed to go all over the place. We'll see that because for perception to take place, it cannot hang on to what it sees. The mind cannot be in one place. It has to be free. It has to be freely wandering and moving everywhere. It has to be totally free. And so there is no use complaining, oh, my mind moves. Of course it moves. If it did not move, one would be in a vegetative state. It moves. Perception takes place. But what am I teaching the mind? In meditation, I am teaching the mind to move according to my plan. I am not going to go behind the mind according to its plan. That's the difference here. I'm teaching the mind to be with me. Therefore, I give it a job to do. And what is the job? Japa. Can't I just give it some word, a meaningless sound, something I can tell it to do? Yes, you can. But then it will not be meditation. Meditation has a definition. Saguna Brahma Vishaye Manasa Vyaparaha. Mental activity for which the object is Ishvara. This is what is called Saguna. This is what is called Sagunam Brahma meditation, Dhyanam. This is not Nididhyasanam. That is contemplation different, and that we'll be seeing a little more example of what is Nididhyasanam in the 6th chapter as we go through the verses. But this is just this is called meditation, mental activity. So worry is also a mental activity. Is that meditation? No. Chinta is not meditation. And then what else is not meditation? Reminiscing about something is also not meditation, even though it's a mental activity. So mental activity whose subject matter is Bhagavan, Ishvara. That is why it is linking the mind to Ishvara in the form of a bridge, like the one you see behind me, in the form of the bridge. And so one side Jiva with all its complaints, other side Ishvara, who are you? Kidrishosi Mahadeva, what kind of you, what is your nature, who are you? And here, even though I am connected to Ishvara, that is the truth of myself, I am one with Ishvara, but the mind does not accept. The Jiva has a hard time seeing this, and so I build a bridge of meditation, like a seturiva, setuhu, like as though a bridge I build from the complaining, restless, miserable jiva to the all-powerful, omniscient, peaceful, non-complaining, limitless Ishvara. And the bridge is made up of uh, stones which have the mantra written on them. Each mantra is a stone on this bridge of connecting as though separated jiva to Bhagavan. Jiva is Bhagavan, but here I don't know. And what am I doing? I'm giving the mind a little space to pray. That's why any meaningless sound, if I just keep saying something, 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 blah, 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 that doesn't become meditation. Because meditation has a definition. Saguna Brahma Vishaye Manasa Vyaparaha. Mental activity whose object is Ishvara. The subject matter of which is Bhagavan. So therefore we can have any mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Dum Dum Durgayai Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye. Like this you can have that. The word Om is there, the word Namaha is there. It starts with Om and ends with Namaha usually. This becomes my bridge to have a say over the ways of my mind. And so therefore, then I train the mind to keep thinking the same mantra. First thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Second thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Third thought, oh, let's see what I had, what's going to come tomorrow. No. So again, Om Namah Shivaya. I give the mind a job to do and be the Sakshi with like a supervisor. In front of the supervisor, all the workers keep working very nicely. If the supervisor goes off for tea, then the workers also slacken. So here, I am the Sakshi, in whose presence the mind is asked to repeat. Of course, it will go away. What is my job? Bring it back. Yato yato nischarate. Tatas tatas sanyamya eva. Then this is what Lord Krishna says. Each time it moves, bring it back. If it did not move, if the mind did not have vikshepa, then there is no purpose of meditation. And if the mind did not have vikshepa, it would not be called meditation, it would be called samadhi. This is how slowly one goes through the steps, observing the body, breathing. The breathing always quietens the mind, softens the mind, readies the mind for meditation. And then observing the body, observing the mind. And then before that, keeping things that do not belong. I do not want people under my skin when I'm meditating. That's highly annoying because these people are always living in my head. Rent free. They are not paying rent. They are living how? In the form of resentment, in the form of grudges, in the form of unrequited love, in the form of unreturned affections. They are living without paying rent. This time, before meditating, I have to give them an eviction notice. Please, I love you, I care about you, I retain the love and care for you, but I'm going to let go of these unmet expectations, difficulties, kama, krodha, all these emotions connected with you, unrequited expectations, grudges. Why did you do this to me? Why couldn't you have been better? Did you really like my brother more? Why was he given extra special treatment? How come he got to do whatever he wanted and I couldn't get to do whatever I wanted? All these are what? thoughts of a 5-year-old, thoughts of a 2-year-old. And I have been nurturing these inner beings, connected to the mother, connected to the father. We just do the mother-father because they are the primal relationships. They are indeed the primal relationships. So we do these two things. We can also do significant other, somebody in our lives right now. We can visualize them and grant them the freedom to be who they are. And in case of the mother and the father also, we do the same thing. Grant the mother the freedom to be whoever she was, whoever she is. And when I willingly grant her the freedom, let's say the mother was a very dysfunctional mother, hypothetically speaking. She did her best, but the best was not good enough. Father also did his best. Best was not good enough, let us say. Then what am I doing? Instead of carrying them in my head, I offload them, suspend them from the mind right now, because the task of the mind is to go inward and greet myself. An appointment with myself is an appointment with Ishvara. We saw that last time. And so to that extent, what is it that I have to do? I have to let go of this internalized mother and father. Like stowaways, like the illegal immigrants. They are squatters. Squatters means they have occupied my head without paying rent, and they are demanding to stay there. They means not the real parents. The parents in the form of unrequited desires. The parents, how the little child saw them. That's how the subjective parents, which have been internalized, they want to continue staying there and not pay rent, and I'm not going to allow it. Because I want to be free of this very thing. How to be free? You can be free instantly if you give them freedom, because really you are holding on to a version of them that they cannot really do anything about, because this is how they are. This is what it is. And that they are your parents is not an accident. That you were born to them is part of Ishvara's plan for your own growth and for the exhaustion of your karma. When I realize this, then I become free. There is acceptance. There is prasada buddhi. And for the time being, when I meditate, I'm able to give them back to Ishvara. Give them the freedom. And when I give them the freedom for them to be whoever they were or whoever they are, then what happens? I gain the freedom. I gain an inner freedom to be myself. And the grudges, the resentments, I just wave it goodbye. That's what it is. And then the mind is free to focus on an appointment with oneself. And then I chant the name of Ishvara. I do not visualize any form of the Lord. No, I just visualize the chant. And when the mind goes, I bring it back. I bring it back. I bring it back. The idea of this is, as long as I am in this closed eye meditation, then I have a say over the ways of the mind. The mind is in training. You, listen to me. Think only this thought. Oh, I'm bored. Okay, next thought also you are going to think this thought. Until the bell goes, you are going to do this only, I tell the mind. And when I tell the mind this, first it will run around, it will jump around, it will rebel, and then it will see the benefits of meditation, because suddenly it finds itself very much at home. It feels relaxed. It feels tranquil, at peace, and therefore it wants to meditate. The repeated chanting of the mantra is called Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. One word. Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. Pravaha, flow. Sajatiya Vritti, a flow of same thoughts. Usually what happens to the thoughts? They jump from one to another. They just go, sometimes without reason, sometimes without rhyme. But there is a reason, there is a rhyme. We don't know it, that's all. When I think of a car called Honda, the next thought is what? Bonda, natural. And so there is a rhyme, there may not be a reason. And so I make peace with the mind by telling it to chant the same thing. So I initiate a flow of identical thoughts so that the mind goes in the groove and learns to and unlearns the habit of just what is that, traveling, jumping around as it wants, and learns the new habit of listening to me, ahankara avachinna chaitanya, this consciousness which is now in the form of ahankara, conditioned as it were by the ahankara, and then it is listening to me. The idea is, if I spend half an hour on meditation, then in the non-meditative states also, the mind is much more available to me. It does not get carried away. It is there when I want it. It is not run by ragadveshas. It is run by me. Who is this me? The Satchidananda Atma, me. Ahankara, which is more and more equated, more and more identified with the Atma. It goes along with me, not only in the meditative state, but also in the rest of the time. Rest of the time also the mind is tranquil. The rest of the time my mind is available for what I want to do. Rest of the time my mind is free. And so this is what is meditation. Before we go any further, let us just kind of summarize what is it that the meditation does and what is it that the meditation does not do. This is something which is very, very important. What is it that the meditation does and what is it that the meditation does not do? In other words, why should I meditate? We should have some basic ideas about the meditation. What is this and why we are doing it? So first of all, we have to know this. You already know this, but just to reiterate, meditation is not a means of liberation. Meditation does not give moksha. We don't say, please meditate for the sake of getting moksha. Why? First of all, moksha is nothing to be accomplished. It is swatas siddha, it's an already accomplished goal. It is siddha vastu, your own nature. It is not sadhya to be accomplished. So then, what is separating me from moksha, one from moksha, is not the lack of meditation, but atma ajnanam, self-ignorance. So the self-ignorance is dispensed with by self-knowledge, and then that is the means for liberation. In fact, self-knowledge is also not a means for liberation, technically speaking, because self-knowledge just reveals the Atma, which I already am. It just reveals what I don't know. It dismisses the ignorance. That is what it does. So this is the first clarification. Meditation does not produce moksha. Second, number two, meditation is not a means of knowledge. Meditation is not a pramana. We have 6 pramanas. We have seen that. Pratyaksha, all the sense organs, the direct perception. Anumana, one-step inference. Arthapatti, multi-step inference. Upama means upamanam means the comparison. And then the means of knowledge called comparison. Anupalabdhi means the cognition of absence, where something is not. That is anupalabdhi. And then finally we have shabda pramana, which is the only and the main way to the only way to understand the truth of myself. Shabda Pramana is the handling of the Upanishad by a competent teacher, the Upanishad and the Shastra, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, by a teacher competent in unfolding and handling this means of knowledge called Shabda Pramana. Because otherwise the Upanishad and all the Shastras are Shabda Rashi, heap of words. They come under Aparavidya. We have seen that in Mundaka Upanishad. And so what makes it para? Yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. That because of which the knowledge takes place. And that, what is that? That is this pramana. So meditation is not the seventh pramana. There are only six pramanas. Meditation is not a means of knowledge, and so it is not considered to be a means of knowledge. And so this is this is what it is. This is the second thing we have to know. Now, number 3, meditation is not for the sake of garnering any kind of mystical or extraordinary or visionary experiences. Very important. Mystic experiences, something, some kundalini is going up, going down. That is not the purpose of meditation. Something else is going this way, that way. That is not the purpose of meditation. This is not at all the meditation. And so the meditation is not for this purpose. We have to remember. Number 3, mystic experiences are many. It's not a big deal. And any mystic experience means what? It has a beginning date and it has an end date. It is time bound. Mystic experiences deal with any kind of a mystic whatever thing. And then so some mystic whatever things which are not available for the sensory perception. And that is okay. That's fine to have them. But please understand that the purpose of meditation is not for gaining mystic experiences, because the experiences are finite. And the experiences belong to the world of objects, not to the world of subjects. So that is the idea. It's not that the mystic experiences are invalid or they have nothing to teach, but they cannot come under self-knowledge. They are only dealing with objects and they are incapable of gaining or giving liberation. And since I am interested in only gaining liberation, I do not run after mystic experiences. So that is the idea. And then the grand guru of Adi Shankara in the Mandukya Karika says that when these mystic experiences come, upekshaniyaha means that they must be just ignored, because there is a higher vantage point available if you don't get caught up in the mystic experiences. Something shaking, something coming, something going. Let it all come, let it all go. As long as you are the observer, observing that something is shaking, something is moving, something is coming, that is not Atma. Mystic experiences are not Atma. That is also what? Anatma alone. And the self is not an object of the mysterious experience. The self is the subject behind every experience, mystic or otherwise. And so this is something which is very, very important. And then so we should remember these points. It is not a pramana. It is not for producing knowledge or liberation. It's not for producing moksha. It is not for a pramana. Meditation is not a pramana, and meditation is not some kind of something that produces mystical experiences, and the mystical experiences are not the object of meditation. Last point, number 4. Meditation is not a medium to quote unquote experience the Brahman that is being taught in the 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock classes. There I understand the theory of Vedanta. Then I go to my room and meditate in order to experience the Brahman that I have heard about in the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita classes. This is the fourth myth about meditation. This also does not work. Why? Because Brahman is not an object of experience, even mystical experience. Whatever you experience is not Brahman. What is Brahman? The truth of the experience, the truth of the experiencer. Neither the experience nor the experiencer, but without which there is no experience, without which there is no experiencer. That is Brahman. Limitless, Ananta. And so, if I don't know this, and if I think that the meditation will make me, actualize Brahman and experience it, then again I am deluding myself. This is the fourth and the last misgiving, or misconception about meditation. So, then what is the reason to meditate? If it doesn't do all these things, then why am I meditating? We say that it has two purposes. The first one is to prepare the mind for Atma Jnanam. Chitta Naischalyam, Nischalata. Nischala means unmoving, unmoving. Naischalya, Nischalasya Bhavaha, abstract noun. So, unmovingness of the mind. It is just like preparing the land to sow the seeds of a crop. You can't just throw the seeds like that. The soil has to be prepared. First you dig, you plow, you aerate the soil. Then you put some nutrients. Fertilizer should be put, nitrogen is put, the soil is turned over, and then you, depending upon the plants or the crops, you sow the seeds this many inches or feet apart. And then you cover it, and then it has to be watered, not too much water, it has to do that, and then slowly the paddy, the wheat and all will come. Slowly it will come. So if the paddy seeds are just thrown like that, it will not come. So the unprepared soil, just like that, the unprepared soil cannot accept the seed and cause it to sprout. So too, an unprepared mind cannot receive the bija in the form of the Mahavakya and allow it to unpack, sprout, grow, assimilate, and benefit the person. So the mind is tilled with the meditation, preparing to sow the seeds of knowledge, the seeds of the Mahavakya. Before that, so that is the Chitta Naischalyam. The preparation for this is done. And the second one is that it is also the second purpose of meditation is to reduce reactivity. Because a mind that is prepared by meditation is less and less reactive, more and more objective. So the second purpose is to increase objectivity, reduce subjectivity. So these are the two purposes of meditation, and then this is something we are going to see a lot in chapter 6. We are going to see not only meditation but also contemplation. So with these words, we come to the end of chapter 5. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sannyasa Yogo Nama Panchamodhyayah. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.